This is Dr. Parsa Mohebi, the celebrity hair transplant surgeon. I'm going to review the reason that you may shed hair or lose hair after a hair transplant procedure. Hi, I'm Dr. Parsa Mohebi, medical director and founder of Parsa Mohebi Hair Restoration. So you want to get a hair transplant and you're not sure what to expect afterwards. One of the side effects of hair transplant is shock loss, that people may lose hair after hair transplant, the native hair. The other thing is that most of the time people lose the hair shafts that are transplanted. So the shaft of the hair that is transplanted may fall out before it starts growing back. So let's put them in two different categories. The first one is shock loss. Shock loss is when you lose the hair that you have in and around the transplanted area that are prone to hair loss. So the hair that is still not gone completely, but you will lose them within the next few years maybe. But any stress can make that process happen faster. So you do hair transplant and then all of a sudden within the 3 months, 4 months after procedure, you feel like the hair that you had before is not quite the same as before. So you have lost some of the volume of hair. That's called shock loss, and we know how to prevent that. We usually ask our patients to go on the medication finasteride or dutasteride or even minoxidil. Any of these medications can minimize the rate of shock loss. So you still may have some shock loss, but it may not be as much. So talk to your doctor before doing a hair transplant and see what they are recommending to minimize shock loss. Otherwise, you may look worse than where you started within a few months after procedure. Of course, when the transplanted hair grows, it will grow back to become better than before, but you don't want to go through that bump, that drop in hair loss and hair that you have and then grow it back. So the other thing is when you transplant hair, initially after hair transplant, for the first few weeks, you see the hair shafts on the transplanted hair. So if you have a buzz cut, we shave the whole head many times during the procedure. So you see the new transplanted hair 2 weeks after procedure. When the scalps are gone, you see the hair shafts. You see like short hair, the same as the rest of the scalp, and it looks pretty decent. So you look like you had a full head of hair, but very short hair. But many cases, you feel like that hair is also gone after 3 or 4 weeks from your procedure. That's another type of shock loss basically, because the hair follicles that are coming out of the body and going back in, they feel like they're stressed out. And that stress that they get exposed to the hair will get them to go to resting phase basically. So hair goes to resting phase. By doing that, they lose the hair shaft, and then there's no hair on that follicle for 4 to 6 weeks after that episode. And after 4 to 6 weeks, you start seeing new hair that at the beginning is very fine and short, and then it becomes longer and thicker. So it takes probably 3-4 months for you to see full-grown hair of the hair that is transplanted and has been gone through the, going through resting phase period. So both of these events could be modified to some degrees. The first one, that's shock loss, is most likely preventable with using finasteride or minoxidil or Rogaine. The second one, we see less and less of it because of the method that we do for transplantation. We do simultaneous extraction and placement, meaning that we remove hair and put them right back in. So the hair follicles that are out of the body will not get as much stressed. So the rate of losing hair after transplant on the transplanted hair is a lot less than what we had before, but we still see that happening in most of our patients. But instead of 100%, we see it probably at like 70-80% of the patients. So 20-30% of the cases keep the hair and keep growing from day one, thanks to the new methods that we do in our offices. So any other questions, we can always touch base with our doctors, and they can walk us through that, and they can tell us about the other side effects or the complications after hair transplant procedure. Awesome. I hope this video has helped you to be a little bit more comfortable with the concept of what to expect after hair transplant, and if you lose hair, what is it that you can do and not do. If you have other questions, make sure you put them in the comment section or follow us on our social media to find out about the latest in hair restoration and hair transplant procedures.